it was such a long process for me in developing the film, and I think through that experience of spending time with Tony Penrose and really immersing myself in the archival material, of which there is a lot, I kind of gradually became more and more familiar with who she was and her energy. She had an incredible zest for life. She was somebody who, she lived life at full throttle, and she just believed in being authentic and telling the truth, being her truthful self. And I just had access to letters that she'd shared between herself and Audrey Withers. She'd written to Roland, he'd written to her when she was away. I mean, I had access to just all of it. And of course that camera, and understanding the camera and how to use it was one thing, but also understanding what it was that motivated Lee to want to document the images of the voiceless victims of conflict and to reveal their truth, because so much of the truth of what was happening in the Second World War was kept hidden. And she wouldn't stop until she had revealed those truths, really, to the world, but in particular to the female readers of Vogue.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, obviously the art that she made during the war was so incredible. And I just wondered what it was like for you recreating some of those photographs in the film, because they really are, like, you know, perfect replicas, and especially that Hitler bathtub portrait. What was it like for you recreating those?
Well, it was a responsibility because, of course, you have to get it as near as damn it right. But actually creating our own narrative around each scenario. How did she come to take those images? You know, what was said? What were the circumstances? How did it happen? Was it hot? Was it cold? You know, all of these different kinds of things. And also what she had gone through to get herself sometimes into those rooms or into those situations, and the courage that she must have had to have. And so, yeah, it was a wonderful challenge, you know, daunting, wonderful challenge. And yes, we did have to be specific, the recreating of the image in Hitler's bathtub, as you say, because it is one of the most famous images ever taken of Lee Miller. The attention to detail was extraordinary, and people were very excited that we were doing that, to the extent that Annie Leibovitz, the photographer, had heard and wanted to come and photograph that as we were filming it on the day, which was a phenomenal thing to have her do for us. But yes, understanding the images enough ourselves to be able to create a scenario around each situation so that it felt believable and captured the steps that Lee took to get to each one of those images. Yeah, it was meticulous, committed, determined work.
Yeah, absolutely, thank you. And just quickly, I wanted to ask you about working with Andy Samberg in this, because he really smashed it out the park, I think, and you two together are so wonderful. So how was it, working with him in this dramatic role?
It was just a delight, honestly, and incredible to see him do something so different. And he was nervous. I mean, he was nervous. He was worried that people would expect that he was going to be funny, and how was he going to get through all of that. And I just kept saying to him, look, you're going to walk on that set and you're going to open your mouth and you're going to sound like and look like Davy Sherman, and you're going to forget all that. It's going to evaporate. And it did. It was great to have a partner in Andy like that. And again, he really cared about being as similar to the real Davy Sherman as he possibly could. So all of his prep with the dialect, for example, how Davy spoke, how he used his camera, how he carried himself, his life, etc. Andy just did so much work to be able to truly bring him to life, and it was just fantastic to be around that.